image of that guy again. It's like a loop that keeps repeating. Over and over again. A damn nightmare that repeats over and over again. Oh no, here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me changes and repeats in cycles. Good God, I think I'm starting to lose my mind. Oh no, it's starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything. Everything's mutating, repeating itself in cycles all around me. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. It's Rose, and she's waiting for me to bring her baby back. The only problem is that I doubt this poor unbalanced girl has ever been a mother. How am I going to do it? From the mother's hairstyle and outfit, the photo looks like it comes from some magazine from the 50s or 60s. Besides, I swear that these rocking cradles went out of style a long, long time ago. I could try to use the nails to join them, but they wouldn't be able to pierce the metal of the subway sign. I don't see any way of combining these two objects using anything I have on me. Must be some leftover Christmas lights that are being used to decorate this room. A string of lights with every single one of its bulbs smashed. I'd say this is a present by the ghost of Christmas yet to come. I could try to use the nails to join them, but they wouldn't be able to pierce the metal of the subway sign. I don't see any way of combining these two objects using anything I have on me. It would break Rose's heart to see me stealing her baby's clothes. I'm not going to do that to her. The bonfire is burning very slowly. I can still see traces of clothing and toys amidst the flames. Oh no, here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me changes and repeats in cycles. Good God, I think I'm starting to lose my mind. In the flames, all the hopes and dreams of Rod and his family are going up in smoke. I'm not going to add any more fuel to this fire. The electric cable that I myself cut. The hunter's thugs made a fairly shoddy connection that will probably only just hold until the next time it rains. After using it to splice the electric cable on the front of the building, the hunter's thugs must have left it here. It's not my old pair of bolt cutters, but it could be useful to me. Let's see. I'll use the electrical tape to join these two objects. The bad news is that I just used up all the electrical tape. I've attached what's left of the metal subway sign to the wooden crate I found in the cleanup brigade's closet. And now I have a crate with metal parts. Hey Hank, what if I told you I know where you can get more fuel than you've ever dreamed of?
Don't call me that again, dude. Like I told you, that man died in the Great Wave. But you have aroused my curiosity. So, where is this place? Information like that is well worth the batteries you need.
A few hours ago, I found a way to get into the medical center you told me about on the outskirts of the city. It's much bigger than it looks like from the outside, and it uses enormous generators to power its electrical system. They're storing hundreds of barrels of fuel in a huge depot, which is hidden behind a fence that goes all the way around the compound. It's invisible from the outside.
Yeah, and I suppose you brought those hundreds of barrels to the camp to bargain with me.
No, but I do have the key that will let you and your men get them out of there without raising suspicion. It's a vehicle pass for entering the compound, stamped by the Army.
That's a very interesting story, dude. I'll have to do some checking, but it sounds promising. Now, if what you're saying is true, you're going to make one weary old bear very happy. But if you're lying, I'll find you wherever you try to hide, and I'll maul you with my paws right on the spot.
So you'll give me the batteries in exchange for the ID?
Deal. The ID is now mine. Here are the batteries you asked for.
A pair of batteries, bartered away from the king of the black market and dirty rackets. Okay, let's see if this device still works. Huh, it works, but what do we have here? It's a list with hundreds of names, places and addresses, and a map of the city. So Beechwood Oracle is in fact a location, but what kind? Why was Reverend Blake carrying this card around? And why does that voice inside my head keep telling me to go there at any cost? It seems like a good idea, but the GPS signal is very weak in here. I think it would be better to use it in an open area rather than indoors.
Hey, I've been thinking about it, and now it's my turn to propose a deal to you.
A deal?
Yeah, listen. Me and my boys don't like leaving the camp any more than we have to. We're a bit too well known and sought after by the pigs out there, if you get my drift.
I see.
All that talk about the medical center, the fuel and the ID got me curious. I need to get the lay of the land, to check out some things and work out a plan. But I can't expose myself. It would look very suspicious if I were to be seen poking around out there.
Of course. And what do you need from me?
Bring us enough information about that depot for us to make a plan. I'm talking diagrams, coordinates, maps. or better yet, a photo. Bring back what I'm asking for, and I'll give you whatever you want in return. What is it you need, dude?
Oh, I don't need much. Just for someone to recover the old world and bring it back.
I'm afraid you're asking too much, Mike. For now, the laws of physics are the only thing from the past that me and my men haven't managed to subvert. In any case, I wouldn't try to prevent that great wave, even if I knew how to do it. Things are fine just the way they are. You know how it is. God, or the devil, has been very good to me.
Could you make it so I get my life back?
Your life? Oh yeah, I remember now you're a blank head. You told me you had no memory of your past. Listen, dude, be careful about what you wish for, because maybe what you're looking for isn't what you want to find. Are you sure there's anything in that black hole worth bringing back? We're at a new beginning. This is the start of a new era, and you've woken up in it without any baggage. Enjoy it, Mike.
Do you know the trailer where Rod Atkinson and his wife live?
Yes, of course. I know Rod, that hypocritical busybody. He still thinks that with his old world morality, he can save everyone in the camp. He's a real pain in the ass, dude.
They have a young son, Colin. I can't tell you why, but I need to be alone with the kid, just for a few minutes. You have to make a commotion outside to keep Rod and his wife distracted long enough. Keep them busy for a few minutes. Find any excuse, but I need time alone with that boy.
You never cease to amaze me, Mike. I don't know what you've got in mind, but it's none of my business. Bring me the information I asked you for. Bring me that photo of the fuel depot of the hospital, and I promise you'll have all the time you need to do whatever it is you want to do with that boy. And my complete discretion, of course.
I don't know what idea is percolating in the hunter's sick mind right now, but I have to play along to avoid having to explain anything. I gotta make sure he doesn't find out about the boy's illness. Deal. But nobody gets hurt, okay?
Bring me that photograph of the fuel depot at the hospital, and we'll do whatever's strictly necessary.
It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate during their raids. Sort of an electronic map. It looks like some satellites are actually still working after the Great Wave. I just have to enter an address, and this screen will show me where it is. Okay, let's enter the address shown on the card from Beechwood Oracle, 24 Mametz Wood Street. The map shows me a place near downtown. Let's go have a look. The only light source for the area is hanging from this wooden post, and the tangle of cables and shoddy connections up there speaks eloquently of the quality and condition of the installation. This pig is watching the street with all the tranquility and indifference his impunity gives him. The more I learn about this new world, the more I'm convinced those bastards don't have human blood running through their veins. But what terrifies me even more is that they do. And in abundance. A billiard ball, armed to the teeth. That uniform looks a little big on him. It gives that psychopath a comical appearance. I'm afraid the brightest thing about this guy is the flashlight hanging from his belt. Someone put this empty tin can on top of one of the trash cans. Up close, it looks like there are crumbs of dried food stuck to the bottom. No matter what you might think of the state of the city, these trash cans are practically empty. I guess generating garbage is a real luxury nowadays. More of the shattered glass that constitutes the window dressing of most of the city's stores. Despite the thickness of the glass, the Great Wave must have crushed it like paper. In the old world, this building would have already been condemned and demolished as a ruin. But in the new world, it's got to be one of the best preserved I've seen in the city. Three huge lights struggle to illuminate everything they can with their precarious electrical system. They actually seem to create more shadows than light. It reigns over the building with its crown of twisted antennas and broken air conditioners. On the rim, there's a shiny object. Although at this distance, I can't make out what it is. They crisscross the building facade from top to bottom. And from what I've seen, this system of staircases is used only on the oldest buildings in the city. Great. The sign that shows the name of this place is burned beyond recognition. What was this place before the Great Wave? Beechwood Oracle, maybe? Those two pigs seem to be watching that entrance very intently. They probably pumped me full of lead before I got a chance to turn the doorknob.
Hey you! What are you doing here? Didn't you hear the curfew warning?
Relax. Look at his wrist. He's got a mole bracelet.
So you're one of those domesticated rats? You people disgust me. At least the rest of the worms at the camp have some dignity. But you guys, the moles, you're nothing more than a pack of treacherous stool pigeons.
No doubt, I have a great paragon of dignity before me. My hatred for these pigs has only grown. And more so since the incident at the camp entrance with the mole's children. Ruthless bastards. I just want to ask you guys a few questions. Do you know what the establishment was before the Great Wave?
I can't say I do. I lived on the other side of town. But judging from what's left, I'd say it looks like it was a bookstore. Looks like it burned down to the ground after the Great Wave.
Well, I for one am glad that nest of bookworms was destroyed. I never liked books. They always were a total waste of time.
Is that right? At first glance, I would have taken you for someone with refined literary tastes.
I think that description fits you to a T.
Watch your mouth, you dirty rat! And don't think that bracelet would protect you. I could blow your head off without batting an eyelid. Don't forget who's in charge here.
Why are you posted here?
Just following orders. Rat, we're here to protect and serve the inhabitants of this city. That's our mission.
Yes, I can see how the people feel much safer with you around.
We're doing our nightly rounds, and we have orders to keep a particular eye on this neighborhood.
And why this neighborhood in particular?
Well, as you can see, this area of the city was left almost intact after the Great Wave. It was kind of a miracle. Most of the homes and businesses are still standing, so burglary attempts are pretty popular. If there's anything left in the city worth guarding, it's here.
You ask a lot of questions. Have you come to steal something, rat?
No, of course not. With officers of the law like you, I'd never dare do anything like that.
I wouldn't provoke my partner too much if I were you. He's plenty jumpy today, and he's sometimes rather unpredictable.
And as for you, blabbermouth, I watch my tongue if I were you. How I am is nobody's business. And you, get back to your nest, rat!
So how's the night going?
Very quiet, except for a shooting at the entrance to the city a few hours ago. I think someone tried to steal some food. And when that happens, you have to act decisively. That's our duty.
It would be a fantastic night if it wasn't for those revolting cats. This damn neighborhood is infested with them.
Cats?
My partner doesn't like cats, and tonight they've been howling non-stop since we started our rounds.
Filthy creatures, dirty and pestilent. They are to blame for everything.
I won't bother you anymore. Keep up the good work. Judging from the traces of food, I'd say that this can was being used as a bowl to feed stray cats. In a city of ruins, only someone acquainted with one of these animal lovers knows that they're capable of things like this, and much more. The sign says, "Emergency exit, Beechwood Oracle Bookstore. Do not block." Well, it seems that in spite of the warning, this door is indeed blocked. And now, I no longer have the slightest doubt as to the name of the establishment. I don't think I'm going to be able to open it that way. Doesn't look like it's going to be complicated to open this door with the crowbar. Done. This screen doesn't look any better than the rest of the place. The fire turned it into a glob of plastic and glass, and there's nothing left of the computer it was connected to. No, computers are a deplorable waste of time when the hardware you're trying to use got wrecked in the Great Wave. In better times, they must have been overflowing with literature. Now they look like the aftermath of one of those book burnings in the old days that maybe aren't as distant as they seem. Burnt paper. The whole place is full of it. Hey, wait! One of these posters has a photograph of Reverend Blake on it. The Beechwood Oracle Bookstore invites you to a reading of The Annihilation of Time, where you can meet the book's author, Edward Blake. That explains why that deranged preacher had the card from this place in his pocket. They're what's left of the cinema section. Only a couple of biographies survived the fire. Let's see, Dario Argento and John Carpenter. They're what's left of the cinema section. Dario... I don't have a good feeling about the deep red of the cover. I'm not going to take one. In better times, now they look like the aftermath that maybe aren't as... A copy of Heart of Darkness, with practically nothing left but the cover. I don't need to look through these pages. I've already seen the horror out there. Ray Bradbury, H.G. Wells, George Orwell, Philip K. Dick. This shelf must have been part of the science fiction section. Although I suppose that after the Great Wave, it would be more fitting to move them to the current events section. No, I doubt there's anything in these stories that could surprise me. Dystopia. Could be the city's last name. It looks like only some of the loose boards from the shelves survived the fire. Four wooden boards, somewhat charred. Unfortunately, that's all I was able to rescue from the shelves of Beechwood Oracle. Now I know why they stopped constructing buildings with these structures. Not only do they let you get out of the building in an emergency, they also let people get in from outside. The fire escapes. I can't stop my eyes fixating on that gleam of metal I see on the edge. What the hell could it be?
Hey, wait a minute! Who the hell's over there?
I don't see anything.
Look at that building! I saw something moving in that shadow on that wall!
I think you're a little paranoid tonight. I told you to relax. Come on, take a deep breath.
Shut up! I bet it was one of those cats! All this is because of those pestilent beasts that have been bothering us since we got here! I couldn't stand them!
I better not let those two psychopaths down there see me. I should be very careful.
I refuse to touch that repulsive mess and put it in my pocket. It's absolutely putrid.
Okay, I'll use the can to avoid touching those disgusting fish with my hands. I filled the empty can with the rotten fish from the fountain in Suicide Park, and now it stinks. It stinks to high heaven. That's the depot where the fuel is stored for powering the enormous generators that light this compound. It's impressive. There must be hundreds of barrels stored down there. Use this here? How? It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate during their raids. Sort of an electronic map. It looks like some satellites are actually still working after the Great Wave. I just have to enter an address, and this screen will show me where it is.
There you are, you mangy beasts! So you dared to come out, did you? Now I've got you! Ow! Goddamn revolting cats! Sooner or later I'll get each and every last one of you! I promise you!
Don't get mad. Your technique's improving. You almost got one this time.
Shut up!
This is the end point of the cable that crosses the street and has the 3 streetlights hanging from it. Now I get it. This is the system that controls the amount of current that reaches each of the streetlights.
What the shit? Why does nothing work right in this filthy city?
Looks like a voltage surge. Suppose you think the cats are to blame.
Shut your mouth or I'll shut it for you. I'm not letting those flea-bitten beasts out of my sight. No chance, mate.
This enormous construction tarp hangs from up there like a stage curtain, covering half the street. I guess it's a vestige of one of the few reconstruction jobs that were started in the city, just after the Great Wave hit. Now, it's just a hiding place for the neighborhood cats. The cats have already done their business back there. I'm not gonna bother them. A ridiculous little nobody, but dangerous. It's like Fatty Arbuckle exchanged his cream pies for rifle bullets. I'm afraid the brightest thing about this guy is the flashlight hanging from his belt. They crisscross the building facade from top to bottom. And from what I've seen, this system of staircases is used only on the oldest buildings in the city. Now I know not only do they also let people get. I don't think using these boards with that would do much good. I don't think I'd gain anything by using this here. Since it's made of wood, I can use the nails to attach something to it. But what? I don't think doing this. I don't think it would do any good to connect the wire to this. It reigns over the building with its crown of twisted antennas and broken air conditioners. On the rim, there's a shiny object. Although at this distance, I can't make out what it is. Getting into a punching match with this wouldn't help me at all. I'm afraid I can't do that. The lights are broken and burnt out. I'm not going to waste time on this. Better not. That would be a waste of time. Since it's made of wood, I can use the nails to attach something to it. But what? This plastic bag is designed to hold the remains of the dissolved, so I'm not putting that inside there right now. They crisscross the building facade from top to bottom. And from what I've seen, this system of staircases is used only on the oldest buildings in the city. Why would I want to do something like that? Let's see. I'll use the rusty nails to attach these two objects together. I don't think it would do any good to connect the wire to this. Using tons of imagination, we can say that I've built an improvised and primitive cradle. Oh God, it's horrible. Now I know why they stopped constructing buildings with these structures. Not only do they let you get out of the building in an emergency, they also let people get in from outside. It's the device the cleanup brigades use to navigate during their raids. Sort of an electronic map. It looks like some satellites are actually still working after the Great Wave. I just have to enter an address, and this screen will show me where it is.
Thank you, Mr. Sleepyhead. This cradle is just like the one in the picture. Now I can rock my baby to sleep and sing to him. But now I need you to find the baby. I won't tell you your secret if you don't bring me my baby. Bring me my baby boy, Mr. Sleepyhead.
Okay, don't worry, Rose. I'll do it. There's makeup scattered at the foot of this mirror. I suppose those savages out there force Rose to put on makeup to make herself look older than she really is. No matter how hard I try to plug these in, I'd need a miracle to get these burnt-out lights to work again. Those two pigs seem to be washing that end. They probably before I got a chance. They crisscross the building. This system of staircase. The sign at the entrance to the Beechwood Oracle bookstore. As blackened and damaged as the rest of the establishment. Hey, wait a minute. I've seen this place before. I've been here. I recognize this rooftop. Those trees, the park, the statue. Tomorrow comes today. Of course, the photo from the poster. It was shot from someplace in this very building. But what's the meaning of all this? And could it be that the voice wasn't actually trying to lead me to that burned out bookstore down there, but rather to this building? To this place? Oh no. It's starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything. Everything's mutating. Repeating itself in cycles all around me. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. From what I heard, all telecommunications collapsed in the catastrophe. It seems like it took the Great Wave only a few seconds to turn all of our technology into scrap metal. The blades of this contraption must have stopped turning months ago, and I don't think doing without it is the owner's biggest problem right now. A ton of useless objects are piling up in this corner. Nothing interesting. I guess that's the reason the neighbors left them here. It's an empty, rusty bucket, part of all this junk left behind. So this is the gleam of metal that seems so interesting from down there? What a disappointment. These benches, fountains, and statues are in a ramshackle condition, whereas the vegetation in this park is almost completely recovered since the catastrophe. Well, if that proves a failure as a species. It's a sculpture from my poster. Maybe it was an allegory of happy fatherhood, until the Great Wave turned it into a depiction of Saturn devouring his children. Sure enough, this is the same park as in the photograph on the poster. Sure enough. The front door of this apartment has been reinforced with various locks and bolts. Despite the surveillance by the soldiers, the people who live in this building must be terrified of burglary and looting. There's a metal plaque on the wall next to the door. Michael Argent, photographer. I can't believe it. This is the apartment of a man named Michael, an apartment located above the Beechwood Oracle bookstore, and in the building where the photograph on the poster was taken. Can all this really be a coincidence? It's hard to believe, but is it possible that the voice in my head has been guiding me to my own front door? An ordinary wooden door, one that's a whole lot less ostentatious than the neighbors. There's a piece of paper stuck to the door, and it looks like it has a handwritten message on it. Let's see what it says here. Who could Sarah be? And this Chris, could he have something to do with the person I saw in my vision? Who could Sarah be? Who could Sarah be? And this Chris. Of course, it's locked, and I think it's better if I don't try to pick the lock. I could be mistaken for a burglar, and the last thing I need right now is for someone to call the guards patrolling this area.
Isn't it time for you to go back to your nest, rat?
That ignorant bastard is starting to get on my nerves. Yes, I do have to be going. By the way, how did the chase go? Were those cats too quick for you?
You'd better go. It's not in your best interest to get my partner any more agitated. Not tonight.
You shut your mouth, you rat, or I'll shut it for you! I won't warn you again! Those beasts are possessed, and I'm going to exterminate them, one by one, with my bare hands if I have to!
I'm sure that would make you the pride of the Force. Just one more thing. Try to stay away from the trash cans next time.
I've warned you, you filthy rat! You've worn out my patience! Ow! This'll teach you to treat me with a little more respect! I'm going to wipe that stupid grin off your face! Ouch! This is the only language you shitheads from the refugee camp understand! So, you're going to treat me with respect now, aren't you?
Come on, leave him alone. You'll kill him. He is a mole after all, and it's in our interest to keep him alive. Come on, let's get out of here.
Well, you're safe for now, but I have a very good memory for faces. Another day, I'll finish what we started, rat. I swear it!
These stains mark the spot where that bloated psychopath knocked me down with his flashlight. Now I can say I've made my mark in this new world. Wait a minute. In all that blood, there's something white. It's a fragment of one of my teeth. A reminder of my clash with the soldiers, in case my memory fails me again. That pig must have left the flashlight on the floor after hitting me, and then forgotten it there. Okay, I'll use the bucket for what it was designed for, to be filled with water. Before I go down, I'll leave the heavy stuff here, in case the rope doesn't support my weight. Here goes. Maybe we can still salvage something from the fire. Now that the fire is out, I don't intend to carry this rusty bucket around anymore. I'll get rid of it. Burned remains of clothes, books, and toys. That's all that's left of the bonfire Rod lit. The head of one of Colin's dolls is sticking out of the charred mess. It sends shivers down my spine to think that this hunk of plastic belonged to little Colin. It's a sinister image, considering the boy's fate. Ugh, this doll is already too macabre to do something like that. Well, the baby would have my smile. I'm not proud of what I'm about to do, but I need to find out that secret Rose is keeping from me. And if she wants her baby, I'll give her back her baby. I've brought you your baby, Rose.
Did you bring me my baby? Did you bring him? Thank you so much, Mr. Sleepyhead. You kept your word. You brought me my baby.
Now I need you to tell me that secret you promised to reveal if I brought what you asked.
Yes, our secret. I have something that belongs to you, Mr. Sleepyhead. It's the key that opens your chest of dreams. And now, it's yours again.
But it's a real key. Where did you get it?
I found it in your jacket after Rod and his wife gave me your clothes. When I got to my room, the key fell on the floor and made a clinking sound. I had just seen you sleeping in their trailer, like a big bear. And then I figured it out. It was the key to the chest where you were keeping your dreams. Because you like to dream, don't you? Of course you do. That's why your name is Mr. Sleepyhead.
The key that opens my chest of dreams.
Thank you very much for your help, Rose. Take good care of your son.
I should be going now.
No, please. Don't go. Don't leave me here. Now that I found my baby, I have to get away from here. Far away. I have to get away from the haunted castle. If you leave, more men will come and hurt me, and they'll lock me up in the dark again. And I can't stand the dark. That's when those soldiers come back and take me with them. And now they'll want to hurt my baby, too.
The hunter was clear. I mustn't get mixed up in his affairs, or there'll be hell to pay. I'm sorry, Rose. I can't do anything.
Mr. Sleepyhead, I can't stand it anymore. Don't let them touch me again. Please help me. You have to get me out of here. Like the knight in the stories. You're my knight, and I'm your princess.
Good God, this is unbearable. Victims and executioners. It sums things up. And what was I? What was my role before the Great Wave? Damn it. I can't just leave that poor girl to her fate. I have to do something to save her, even if I don't know what that is yet. I'll help you, Rose. I'll help you get out of here.
Thank you, Mr. Sleepyhead. Do you promise? Will you be my knight in shining armor?
Yes. I'm not going to give it to anyone. I might sorely miss the light of this flashlight.
What exactly do you think you're doing?
Hey, pal, touch that generator and you're a dead man. My partner and I don't kid around when it comes to defending what's ours. That clear?
Extremely. I was just curious and wanted to see this relic up close. You don't have to get nervous. It's something that belongs to you, and it's from before the Great Wave. That's what Rose said. The key that opens your chest of dreams. Let's see if my intuition is correct. Yes, the key that opens my chest of dreams is a key that in fact belongs to Michael Argent, photographer. The key to my own apartment. The outside of this closet is covered with photos cut out of magazines and newspapers. It looks disproportionately huge in this tiny apartment. Inside, there are dozens of compartments for cameras, lenses, and bags. But they're all empty. It's strange. There's not a trace of photographic material in this closet, except for this old instant camera. Wow, a classic model of that famous brand of instant cameras, gathering dust on one of the shelves. Whoever designed this building didn't go to too much trouble to conceal the structural elements. There are pillars and wooden beams all over the place. A line of tiny screws holds up the white backdrop that hangs from the crossbeam. Whoever designed this building, there are pillars, a line of... This must be the corner where I did my least complicated photographic jobs. Just a white backdrop and these two shattered lamps to light the scene. It's the backdrop I used for the photography I did at home. It's hanging down from that wooden beam, held in place with screws. No, I'd only rip it if I tried to pull it down without first taking out the screws. It doesn't look like it's having any effect. I don't see how I can use the tooth fragment with this. I don't quite see how The corner of a photograph peeking out of this old music box. It can't be. It's me. This photo. I remember it. I remember this photograph.
Please, Michael, help us. Only you can do it.
And this woman she's Emily. She's my wife. Now I remember her. The person who's been communicating with me all this time. Emily.
I love you, Michael.
And I now pronounce you...
Don't ever leave me.
I won't.
I have something to tell you, Michael.
Are you really? Oh, yes!
Things are not going well between us, Michael. You know that.
It's only a rough patch. You'll see. It's all your fault!
You have to get on top of this, Michael. It's destroying both of us. I'm afraid of you.
Shut up! Shut up! Everything will be different. Remember that vacation we took to the beach when we were getting to know each other? Everything will go back to the way it was.
Promise me.
I promise. Oh, Emily, what does all this mean? Where are you? How can I find you? What are these messages you keep repeating in my head? I've lost my mind. I've lost my mind. That's the only logical explanation for this. Oh, Emily. My poor Emily. Where are you? How can I find you? This melancholy music makes my hair stand on end. I seem to be hearing the sad voice of Emily in every note. Where are you? How can I find you? This melancholy music, I seem to... Where are you? as dry and as empty as the contents of my memory. I see various liquor bottles scattered around the room. That explains the odor I find so unbearable. A shelf with photos, discs, and dozens of books in every imaginable size and color. This must be the repository for a big chunk of Michael Argent's personality and tastes. What for? None of these titles means anything at all to me. It's like looking into a mirror and seeing a reflection you no longer recognize staring back at you. It's exactly the same view of the park and the statue that appears in the photo on the poster. No doubt this must have been one of my simplest and most lucrative jobs. I completed it without even leaving the house. It has a multitude of little drawers, all labeled in alphabetical order. The existence of something so logical and orderly in this place surprises me. Judging from the state of my place, I was obviously a rather messy person. Alexander Tribune. That's the name of this newspaper. Now I understand. This file cabinet holds copies of newspapers and magazines my photos appeared in. It seems like as a photographer, I was very fond of my own work. Central Outrider. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Bjorn City Paper. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. It's the note I found on the door to the apartment. Solstice Times. That's the name of this newspaper. Sandy Ridge Sentinel. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Today Progress. One of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. The New Truth. That's the name of this newspaper. The New Truth. The title of this publication appears on the front page. Union Country Messenger, one of the many newspapers stored in the filing cabinet. Union Country. The New Truth, the newspaper for those who have woken up. It looks like a decent publication, even though it was produced on a shoestring budget. The address of the office is at the bottom of the first page, and the article on the front page is under the byline of one Chris Bluntstone. The address of the office is, and the article. I have an excellent view of the hospital compound and the fuel depot from here. Shame the camera doesn't have any film in it. Let's see what this room actually is, with a little light. One of those electrical panels that control the different lighting phases in a building. The majority of the circuit breakers are broken or ripped out. All but one. All right, I'll flip the switch for the only circuit that's not blown. I think I hear the buzz of electricity coming from the surface. It's a control panel for the building's light. I've already activated the only circuit breaker still working. With the help of a pair of bolt cutters, all electrified fences cease to seem so menacing. That's a proven fact. A few powerful spotlights light the contents of the depot. This place is glowing like a gold mine right now. Okay, here goes. I'll turn on the flashlight before going down any further. Great. These tunnels are a real labyrinth, and I'm afraid that the map on the cleanup brigade's GPS only shows the city at street level. There's no reference to the sewers in the GPS. I'd better turn back before I get lost. This could be very dangerous. Of course. The letters TNT on the letterhead of Sarah and Chris's note stand for the newspaper, The New Truth. I'll enter the address of the newspaper office shown on the front page. The map indicates a place near the main avenue of the city. Will it still be standing? Let's go find out.
Good God, Michael, is that you?
There's no question about it. That's the person I saw in my vision. The person mentioned in the note I found in my house. What was his name? Hello, Chris.
Come in, quickly. It's dangerous to be out on the streets at this hour. Michael, I'm so glad to see you again. After all that time without hearing from you, Sarah and I feared the worst. But tell me, why didn't you come sooner? Where have you been all this time?
From his enthusiastic welcome, it looks like this man and I were good friends in the past, before the entire world collapsed. But can I trust him? I don't know. Do I have any other choice? It's a long story, Chris. Very long.
I'm all ears, old friend.
And while I tell him everything I can remember, the few things in my memory since waking up in Rod's trailer, I see a mixture of tenderness and compassion on his face. Something I haven't seen in anyone else since waking up in this hellhole. I haven't the slightest doubt. I can trust this man.
I'm sorry for everything that happened, Michael. Sarah and I had been trying to get in touch with you for a long time, but the Great Wave made it impossible to find you. Now I know why. As a matter of fact, she went out to take that note to your house. I haven't seen her since. Tell me, did you find Sarah? Did she tell you she was coming here?
Sarah? I'm sorry, but I just found this handwritten note on the door. That's all.
Of course, forgive me. You already told me that you were blanked. You don't remember her. Sarah is my wife. Emily and she were close friends. In fact, they ran the Beechwood Oracle bookstore together, right below your apartment. That's how you started working with us at The New Truth. And the two of you, Emily and you, became like family to us. I want you to know that what happened to Emily affected us deeply, Michael. Sarah was devastated. We could hardly bring ourselves to speak to you at the time. I'm so sorry for what happened to her.
What the hell are you talking about?
Good God. Don't tell me you don't remember that either. Emily died, Michael.
But that's impossible.
I'm sorry to be the one to make you relive that hell. You yourself told Sarah and me on the phone a little while before you returned home. It happened while the two of you were in Japan, scarcely a few days before the Great Wave hit. At the paper, we sent you on an assignment to do a photo essay on those strange lights that had been sighted in the sky over Tokyo. So you got all your photography equipment together and set off right away. Emily went with you. You two decided to use the trip as a chance to work on your marriage, which had been in trouble for a long time. You were in bad shape, Michael. Your financial problems, her miscarriages, your violent, self-destructive nature. Emily couldn't take it anymore. You were putting her through too much back then.
Things are not going well between us, Michael. You know that.
It's only a rough patch. You'll see. It's all your fault!
You have to get on top of this, Michael. It's destroying both of us. I'm afraid of you.
I can't help it. It's that demon. You know I can't help it.
From what you told us, things were getting better. After so many years, both of you were starting to rediscover each other.
Everything will be different. Remember that vacation we took to the beach? When we were getting to know each other? Everything will go back to the way it was.
Promise me.
I promise.
Until one night in your hotel, Emily started to feel sick. It all happened very fast. She was having fainting spells, vomiting, running a fever. You took her to the nearest hospital where she was admitted immediately.
Emily, what's happening? Emily! Emily!
And a few hours later, they told you she was dead. They wouldn't even let you see her body. They wouldn't let you see her. The Japanese authorities hustled you off on the next plane out. It was all very strange and disconcerting. And the very night you arrived, the Great Wave hit.
Oh, Emily. Now I remember it. I remember everything. I remember her pale, haggard face when she took my hand. Don't worry. It's nothing. Everything will be all right, she was saying, while they were wheeling her deep into the hospital, and she waved goodbye to me, forcing a smile to cover her fear. And then I saw it. I swear I could see how time was stopping, little by little, in her eyes. Emily can't be dead. She talks to me. I've been hearing her voice for some time now. You must think I've lost my mind.
From the little you said you would never be able to forgive yourself. It's possible that the pain warped your mind, but it's also possible that what is happening to you is real.
If Emily died before the Great Wave, how can what's happening to me be real?
Let me tell you something. In spite of the catastrophe, at the New Truth, we've never stopped working. For Sarah and for me, this newspaper is our life. And since the Great Wave, our contacts and confidential sources haven't stopped bringing us the most incredible and chilling information you could imagine. Thousands, no, millions of unexplained phenomena are taking place simultaneously all over the world, Michael. We're living through the strangest and most confusing times in our history, and any hypothesis, no matter how crazy, must be taken into consideration, even what you just told me. There's no question that something extraordinary is happening all over the world because of the Great Wave, the emergence of the dissolved, and our gradual approach to the Dead Synchronicity point.
Yes, the Great Wave. People have been telling me about it since the moment I woke up.
Everyone talks about it, but no one really knows what it is. Did you know that the catastrophe didn't just strike here, but all over the world? They keep us isolated and misinformed. But that's the truth. The Great Wave didn't just destroy this city. It affected the entire planet. And the most surprising thing is that it all happened simultaneously, at the exact same moment everywhere on Earth. Isn't that amazing? There's never been an official account of the catastrophe. They don't want to tell us, but at the New Truth, we know a lot of things they don't want us to know.
They? Who are they?
The elite, the army, the shadow government, whoever is in control at any particular moment. They're determined to maintain the power structures of the old world by any means. The irony is, for the moment, any notion of order or control is absurd. The rules of the game have changed completely, and the entire world is slipping through their fingers. They're disoriented and frightened, and they'll do anything to prop up the old system. That's what makes them so dangerous. But information weakens them, makes them vulnerable. And that's why we have to keep investigating, Michael. It's our duty to uncover the truth.
The dissolved. That horrible disease.
Yes, the fate of those poor devils. That's the cruelest and saddest part of this story. From reliable sources, we've been able to find out that while it is true the Great Wave multiplied the number of dissolved drastically, a few early cases of dissolution were actually detected hours, even days before the catastrophe.
What? There were cases of the dissolved before the Great Wave?
Yes, Michael. Just a handful of victims scattered across the globe. But the timing is significant. What's more, people have told us shocking stories about those victims.
I could tell you one. Colin, the only child of the family that took care of me in the refugee camp, is a dissolved. Just a few hours ago, in a deep trance, he shouted out my name, insisting that he needed to talk to me. He kept saying that he wanted to give me a message from Emily.
Good God, Michael. And what was that message?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I will. His condition is very serious, and I have to hurry.
If only we had more information about the disease, what it is, where it came from. If only we knew a little bit more about those strange underground highways they talk about so much during their trances. We need more information. At the New Truth, all we have are a few eyewitness reports here and there, and a handful of tests for detecting the disease that we were able to steal from one of the cleanup brigades. And that's not very much when you're trying to put together a puzzle as obscure and complicated as this one.
Dead Synchronicity? What's that?
It's very difficult to explain, Michael. We're still so short of information. But I will tell you one thing. Time is running out. The Great Wave triggered a landslide of death and destruction that's accelerating by the day. And the end will be absolutely devastating.
Look around you, Chris. It's impossible for the situation to get worse.
If the theory about the approach of the Dead Synchronicity point is true, the future that awaits us will make everything we've seen up to now seem like a walk in the park, Michael. The arrival of the Dead Synchronicity point will mean the end of the world as we know it. The end of the laws of nature, the laws of physics, the very meaning of existence. And with them, of course, the end of the human species on the face of the earth. Our inability to adapt will wipe us out in a matter of minutes, and indeed, in some cases, it's already happening. But the good news is that if this hypothesis is correct, the very nature of this anomaly could also allow us to reverse the situation.
Reverse the situation? You mean avoid the future you're talking about? Avoid the consequences of the Great Wave? Is that possible?
Of course it is. How can I explain it to you? No, not yet. It would be too complex for you to understand, and I don't want to create any false hope. I can't tell you anything more for the time being. We need more information, more sources, and we need them urgently. Time is running out, in every sense of the word.
I need answers too, Chris. Where can I find the information you need? How can I help you?
A few days ago, one of our confidential sources in the Army contacted the New Truth. He told us he had a bombshell in his hands, an official report of the results of all the investigations conducted to date on the Great Wave, the Dissolved, and the Dead Synchronicity point. It's a real gold mine, Michael. The answer to our prayers.
And where is that report now?
The same day she left the note at your house, Sarah was supposed to meet our source at the same place we always meet people who cooperate with the New Truth, which had been the safest place in the city up to that point, the sewers. But she never came back, Michael. I was hoping she'd found you. Or perhaps some problem had come up in the sewers, and she'd taken refuge in your apartment.
Don't worry, Chris. Sarah will be fine.
Yes, I know. Sarah is a strong woman and very resourceful. I know she can take care of herself. If you want to help us, Michael, get us that report. I'm trapped in this basement in this wheelchair, but I know that you'll be able to get it for me. It's vitally important that we get it. That's where we'll find the answers to all our questions. Even answers about Emily and her messages. Follow the trail of Sarah and our source. Go down into the sewers and find some clue that can lead us to them. But be very careful down there. It's dangerous.
Dangerous? You just told me the sewers were the safest place in the city.
Indeed, they were. That's why they became the perfect hiding place for the dissolved and their families. For some time now, the Army has been reinforcing its dragnets for catching the dissolved hiding in the sewers. If they find you in one of those tunnels, they'll shoot first and ask questions later.
I'll be fine.
Take this. You'll need something to guide you. The city sewer system is a veritable labyrinth. I've marked the exact spot where the meeting was supposed to take place. It's a huge subterranean gallery where several pipes converge. Michael, please, bring me that report. And for the love of God, bring Sarah back to me safe and sound.
I'll do it.
The entire basement is filled with books, albums, file cabinets, and photos. You can even find the odd exotic object in all this. Sarah and Chris accumulated enough material to fill a museum of curiosities. Mythology, parapsychology, history, anthropology, cutting-edge scientific material. The subject matter of the books packed in this basement is as varied as it is disconcerting. A huge old trunk. Looks like it weighs a ton. The layer of dust on top suggests that it hasn't been opened in a long time. Locked with a key. I'm afraid that Chris doesn't trust anyone, and the way things turned out after the Great Wave, he's doing the right thing. The entire basement is filled with books, albums, file cabinets, and photos. You can even find the odd exotic. Sarah and Chris. Mythology, It's Chris. Nowadays, the only person I think I can trust. He's waiting for me to find and bring him back that report that promises to reveal a lot of secrets about this new world. And to do that, I first have to find Sarah and her source. Where did he come from? How did he end up running this newspaper? What happened to put Chris in that wheelchair? When did it happen? Oh, come on. This man and I were supposedly close friends. It's so frustrating to remember hardly anything. It's Chris. Nowadays, the only person I think I can trust. He's waiting for me to find and bring him back that report that promises to reveal a lot of secrets about this new world. And to do that, I first have to find Sarah and her source. While I can't remember her clearly, looking at this photograph gives me a pleasant sense of tranquility. I'm sure Sarah and I were very good friends before the world collapsed. Covered with scrawled notes, open books, and dirty coffee mugs. I get the impression that Chris lives, works, eats, and sleeps at this enormous desk. A beat-up armchair covered with patches. It's funny. It's pretty tatty, but it looks extremely comfortable. Oh Lord, I'm completely exhausted. I feel like I've been wandering around this new world for centuries, but I can't stop to rest now. Not until Chris and I have uncovered the secrets in that army report. Dozens of documents and newspaper clippings about conspiracies, attacks, inexplicable occurrences. Looking at the topics of all this material, I can imagine what the editorial line of The New Truth is. Some of these documents have stems from intelligence agencies, even the Army itself on them. It looks like Chris's newspaper deals with highly placed and sensitive sources. Where did he get all this material?
Chris, I need you to refresh my memory of a few concepts.
I won't bother you anymore. Locked with a key. And the way things... Locked with... And the way...
Chris,
I won't bother you anymore. It belongs to Chris. Although I could open it with this crowbar, I have no intention of breaking the lock on this chest. What kind of friend would do that? It's a map with handwritten notes, describing how to get to Sarah's meeting place with her source. Without this, walking through those tunnels would be a rather dangerous waste of time.